wonder if some scientists have too much time on their hands? Well, after reading this article, I'm not wondering anymore. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. This is Breakpoint. The scene is movie legend. Morpheus sits with Neo beside a fireplace while a storm rages outside and tells him that the world that he thinks is reality, what he sees when he looks out the window or turns on the TV when he goes to work, it's all an illusion. And if he takes the blue pill, Neo can remain comfortably in that illusion. You know, the Matrix. But if he takes the red pill, he'll wake up to a very uncomfortable real world. It's a cool movie, but apparently some scientists are now entertaining an idea that's almost exactly like its premise. It's called the simulation hypothesis, and it proposes that the world around us, our bodies, even our minds, might not be real. Instead, they could be the illusions of a sophisticated computer program created by a superintelligent being or beings. In fact, writing at NBC, Dan Falk quotes top scientists and philosophers who think that it's not just possible, it's likely. They think we could exist in some version of the Matrix. If we're living in a simulation, writes Oxford philosopher Nick Bostram, then the cosmos we're observing is just a tiny piece of the totality of physical existence. The world that we see, touch, taste, hear, and smell might not be located at a fundamental level of reality. Now, before you laugh, this idea is surprisingly hard to disprove on secular assumptions. One MIT scientist and the author of the book The Simulation Hypothesis recalls once playing a virtual reality game and then forgetting he was alone in an empty room with a headset on. The game was just so realistic it became reality for him. And if it's that easy to get lost in a simulation that we've designed with our limited technology, or so goes the thinking, what must it be like to be in a simulation designed by an advanced race? We could be living our entire lives in such a simulation and we'd never know it. And what would be the purpose of such a virtual reality? Well, the answer in the Matrix was that sentient robot overlords kept us distracted so that they could use us humans in order to generate energy enough to survive. Believe it or not, some who seriously argue for this simulation hypothesis have similarly outlandish guesses as to the identity and the intent of the programmers. Some suggest a race of extraterrestrial beings that are running a kind of experiment on us. Rich Terrell of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory thinks that the programmers could be us, that is, future, highly advanced, or read further evolved humans who've decided to create a simulation of an earlier stage of their own civilization. Oh, and it's worth mentioning that these advanced beings controlling our reality quickly get deified. If the simulation hypothesis turns out to be true, says Terrell, that means there's a creator, an architect, someone who designed the world. He even recognizes that he's wrapping ancient religious ideas, especially Eastern monism, in mathematical and scientific terms rather than just faith. But he's fine with that. Taking the simulation hypothesis seriously forces us to deal with serious questions. For instance, could our own minds and everything that we know and love be mere created computer code designed to trick itself into believing that it can think? And if all this is a simulation, does anything matter at all? And according to Harvard astronomer Abraham Loeb, such thinking would lead to massive social unrest. After all, if the world's just a computer program, well, it would relieve us from being accountable for any of our actions. Oh, and there's this one. If the world is the creation of an advanced race, where did they come from? It's kind of like that theory that says life on Earth was seeded by extraterrestrials. Well, the simulation hypothesis also just moves the origin of intelligent life back a step, but it doesn't ever answer it or explain it. Now, of course, there's a much more direct way of answering all of these ultimate questions. What if the improbable design of the universe, our planet, our bodies and minds, are in fact created by an advanced being, but instead of programming a supercomputer, he called everything into existence by his own word? And what if this creator is a moral being, and so we're morally accountable to him? Well, apparently for a few of the world's top scientists, that's just too much of a stretch. It's too unlikely, and who wants to be morally accountable to someone anyway? And so instead, they just prefer the Matrix. For Breakpoint, I'm John Stonestreet.